Welcome back. Our good friends from Resolve Counseling are here, Tanya and Donna, and helping you navigate through life is what Resolve Counseling does, with a myriad of different advice and tips that they can offer you, helping navigate through life. One of them we'll be talking about after the holidays. You know, everything's back to normal except for that first bill, the first visa bill in January. It's like, ooh, how am I going to deal with this? We're here to help you through that and offer advice. How you doing? This is a scary time of year for lot of people.
Yep, very scary. We've just come out of a huge spending frenzy over the holidays, and it's time to check back into reality and get focused for the new year. What we tend to tell clients is, you know, it's a great time of year to revisit your expenses from the past year. Your bank statements, take a look at what you've spent your money on. Besides just, like, you know, the heavy spending around Christmas, let's get focused in on putting together a meaningful and purposeful budget that'll take us through the new year.
Some simple tips here we're going to pass on to you.
Yeah.
Simple but effective. And we'll look at them right now. The first one, this is all about sort of getting back on track here. Review spending habits and develop a budget. Explain this.
Right. So, you know, surprisingly enough, only about 40% of Canadians take the time, adult Canadians take the time to develop a budget and follow it through. Budgeting is a really poignant and purposeful exercise in terms of really understanding what it is that you spend money on and what the end result is at the end of the day in terms of your disposable income. So like I had just mentioned, you know, taking the time to kind of review your expenses and some of those more elusive expenses of the previous year, not just the obvious ones like mortgage payment and rent, but taking the time to look, how much do I spend on coffee a week? How much do I put towards ATM withdrawal fees a month, you know, and having a really good snapshot of that helps us in a much more meaningful way, put together a budget that is a clear reflection of what we do have to spend and what we really should be saving, or what money we could be devoting towards saving.
You would recommend don't get caught up in the deal. What does that mean?
Well, at this time of year, retailers are scrambling to keep the spending momentum going because they've had a really successful season of consumer spending, and they want to keep that momentum going. So it's not unusual for retailers to do these extended sales and keep those deep discounted or perceived deep discounted sales going. The reality is that they're all chasing the same dollar within a same product type. And so those deals, they'll be here today, they'll likely be here tomorrow. They're chasing each other one after the other through every monumental holiday or point of interest through the year. So that coming next is Valentine's, Easter, so forth and moving forward. And so, I think the important thing is to know is let's not get caught up in that emotional type of spending. Stick to your priorities, focus back on the priorities that you've identified in your budget for the next year. Make the decision, walk away from this splashy deal, make the decision, is this a necessity item or is this something that falls in line with the priorities I've identified? And if it has, the deal will be there tomorrow or it will come back around, right? But when we make emotional buying decisions, we buy on impulse. And that's where we get caught falling off track with our budget.
I want to bring Donna in here. We have about a minute left. Money mismanagement can lead to other things, not just being in debt, but it affects relationships. It affects the family.
Right. Well, and other things lead to money mismanagement. So oftentimes people aren't talking. Oftentimes people have very different values about spending money. So we have spenders and savers. And believe it or not, opposites attract, and they end up in families together. And so we'll have one person who really wants to spend over Christmas, and one person who's really conscious of needing to save money, one person who wants to deal with reality after Christmas and open the envelope and see where the bills are at, and another person who would prefer to put the envelope aside and open it later. So the most important thing is open communication, trying to be as transparent as possible. We have a lot of blended families. Sometimes families don't even know spouses about each other's finances, new couples, new relationships. So communication, open communication, transparency is really important, in particular around the money. Oftentimes people aren't talking, oftentimes there are secrets. There have been, money spent on Christmas presents, on gifts, on making the perfect Christmas, making things happen at Christmas time. And so after Christmas is time to be real, to be honest, and to do an accounting of the family expenses.
Very great advice, and just a reminder, there are solutions for every problem.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Navigating Life is brought to you by Resolve Counseling, overcoming challenges together.